For the Utah Jazz this season, there have been a lot of ups and downs so far across 3 games, in which they dropped the opener against the Kings, won against the Clippers in very impressive and close game closeout series type fashion, and then got blown out by the Suns most recently. Now, across those 3 games, there have been both good metrics and bad metrics, but one of the best that I've seen has come from Lauri Markkanen. In the opener, he looked very rusty, particularly in the first half where he really couldn't get a lot of his own game going, and he missed a lot of easy shots that he would have typically made last season. Now, we expected him to start out the season with a little bit more of a rough start, simply because he did perform military service during the offseason, and he also did play in FIBA games, so he didn't really have much of a rest period to speak of. However, he did still manage to put together 19 points in the loss, going 6 of 15 from the field and shooting 2 of 6 from beyond the arc to go along with 10 rebounds, an assist, and 2 steals. Going into the next game against the Clippers, he had his most impressive showing, only being outscored by Paul George, who had 36, as he in 35 minutes had 35 points, going 12 for 23 from the field and 5 of 13 from beyond the arc, collecting 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and playing solid defense in his minutes on the court. Against the Suns, it was a little bit of a rough game, simply because the game got out of hand and the other team ended up putting up more points early on as the Utah Jazz's offensive set started to fail. Now, despite that, in 28 minutes, he ended up putting together 19 points, shooting 7 of 13 from the field and 5 of 7 from the three-point line, along with 3 rebounds, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Obviously, against the Suns, the rebounding is the biggest question mark because he's played between 28 and 35 minutes across 3 games. So for him to average double-digit rebounds in the first 2 games, only to come up with 3 in the next one, is a little bit more unfortunate. But on offense, he also tended to be out on the three-point line a lot more in the limited minutes that he did end up playing. And going 5 of 7 from beyond the arc, there's something very important to say about that because it's very hard to do for anybody. But also coming from somebody that's a 7-footer, as lanky as he is, with such a sturdy base, it just speaks volumes to the work that he's been putting in over the past couple seasons. Now, last year, we do know that he had 25 points, shooting a historically great 49.9, basically 50% from the field, to go along with 39% from beyond the arc, as he collected 8.6 rebounds, 1.9 assists, and 0.6 steals. But coming into this season across 3 games, in 3 less minutes, he's averaging 24.3 points, shooting 49% from the field, and 46.2% from beyond the arc, to go along with 8.3 rebounds, 1.3 assists, and a steal a game. Now, of course, this is only 3 games into the season, and I'll do more updates as the season goes on, and I just keep up with the Utah Jazz content. However, I want to go ahead and give him his flowers early because if he can keep this up, he's in store for not only another All-Star selection, but he's likely going to be on an All-NBA team, particularly if the Jazz manage to beat the odds and make the playoffs this year. Shooting 46.2%, most people would assume that's an overall field goal percentage, but for him to shoot that on threes and have it be on a significant sample size across 3 games makes it even more impressive because obviously, shooting 6 in the first game, 13 in the second game, and 7 in the third game, most people are going to shoot 2 to 5 threes a game. His lowest is 6. Now, I don't expect him to shoot 13 threes in another game particularly, unless he really just has the hot hand like that. But even against the Suns, going 5 for 7 was just so impressive because despite the deficit, he just kept matching for what he could until he was taken out of the game. Now, in that game, he also did only shoot 2 of 6 from inside the three-point line, but I wanted to dedicate this video specifically to his outside shooting because across the season, that effectively means that he is 12 for 26 from 3-point range. Now, we know that Lauri isn't known for creating his own shot beyond a certain length. He's not a particularly great playmaker, but he does manage to get into his offensive bag when he's set up by guards, which means most of his 3-point attempts have come off of actions that see him coming off of pin down screens, off certain inbounds actions, and just receiving it off the catch on the wing. Now, this is very important because we know that Lauri Markkanen is a very capable scorer, but being able to do it as efficiently as he did last year and still somehow improve upon it is something that cannot be overstated. If they can continue to get 25 points out of him on a nightly basis while him playing under 34 minutes, that would be the most ideal situation because then you're also opening up a couple more minutes for the more developmental and interesting pieces on the roster, while also not not overspending your star up until you need to ramp up his minutes when you come closer to the playoff push, which means that he's not going to be as hampered by the lack of having a rest in the offseason as he would be if he was expected to play a more significant amount of minutes on the court on a nightly basis. Because those minutes, while it may be 3 to 4 less, it adds up over time, and that wear and tear on the body does a number, particularly as you get closer to the playoffs. And it increases, especially at his height of 7 foot, it increases the rate of injury that he's likely to receive as the season goes on. And any way that they can mitigate that is going to do wonders for their overall outlook on the season come the end. Well, go ahead and subscribe, man. Only 12% of you guys are subscribed to the channel. And by subscribing, you let the algorithm know that more people need to see the video on their pages. With that being said, the Utah Jazz as a team will go as far as Lauri can take them. Right now, they're trying to figure out their guard play. And until somebody steps out and stands out as being that main guard who can provide that scoring punch and also create that playmaking effect that they so desperately need, Lauri is going to be expected to be borderline superb to keep them in a lot of games and to keep them in the opportunity to win games. Now, Jordan Clarkson has been a player that has been abysmal from his shooting splits, but has played well defensively and has shot well enough from beyond the arc to keep himself on the floor. Combine that with him hitting a 3 and playing solid defense on Kawhi Leonard to close out the Clippers game, and you understand why he's still seeing the court as consistently as he does. I'm a proponent right now for taking THT out of the starting lineup, and I would like to see perhaps Colin Sexton start, as across all 3 games he has significantly improved on his numbers simply from a split standpoint and also from how he's playing the game standpoint. It remains to be seen whether he can keep it up, but I believe putting him in a starting lineup from a shooting standpoint cannot do you any more harm than having THT out there. Defensively, Colin Sexton has been the aggressor that he needs to be, and I think alongside Lauri Markkanen in the starting lineup, he could provide a little bit more of a scoring punch that could make Lauri's buckets come a little bit easier. When a scorer is already shooting basically 50% from the field and 46% from beyond the arc, you wonder how much easier it could be. But if you could shoot those same percentages on easier and more wide open looks, it saves even more energy that Lauri can use on the defensive side of the ball in rotations and particularly in the zone so that he can help on other things, get back to his man, and protect the rim at the same time. With that being said, you guys let me know if you think that Lauri can keep this shooting clinic that he's putting on right now for the remainder of the season, or if you think it's going to taper off. Let me know what you think the outlook on this team is if they do not manage to decipher who the starting point guard is going to be for the remainder of the season within this first 10 games. And let me know if you think that Lauri can force them into the playoffs by his willpower and strength and skill alone. With that being said, thanks for watching this video. As always, it's your boy Ray Thoops. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.